Hey, how's everyone doing today? Hopefully really well. My name is Crypto if you're just tuning in. And today I want to talk about something special. Today I'm going to talk about the Raiden network and what that means for the Ethereum network. So if you've been into cryptocurrency and or Bitcoin for a while, then you know that Bitcoin has been working on something called the Lightning Network, which will enable it to scale to the same levels that achieve a closer level to something like Visa. Instead of being able to process just 7 to 10 transactions per second, they will be able to do 10,000 transactions per second, or faster or slower, by working off the chain. So you have this blockchain where transactions are being verified, right? And so there's a limit because there's a certain data cap and a certain amount of transactions that can be validated per block. And so it causes an issue with scalability, right? And that's one of the long-term issues that Ethereum is going to be helpful with through certain things like sharding, which will enable smaller sections of miners, so groups of miners in smaller allocations, to basically just get part of the block. And then another random part, and it changes them automatically, switches different shards or whatever they are, who they are, different mines. It does that automatically, will do that automatically. And they only get a subset of the total amount of transactions to process, and then they come together at the same time, basically. Obviously, it's a little more intricate than that, but that will enable it to really scale a lot further, because they'll be able to get transactions times down to a second or less, maybe 2 seconds less. So that's pretty exciting. But now, in the meantime, we have something called all these Lightning networks, and the Raiden network on Ethereum, which has been announced and is being talked about a lot right now. So the Raiden network basically will allow it to scale to, and they've done in stress tests, up to 100,000, they're saying right now. In the first steps, up to 100,000 transactions per second, by, instead of making the block itself have to transact faster or enable sharding, they'll enable, like an off block to look at the block and then verify them there first, make transactions happen. Well, not really verify them, make sure that they're happening over here, and then eventually check them in with the block and tie them into that and verify them that way. So it's a quicker way to reduce the lag time and increase the amount of transactions that can happen per second by having them happen instantaneously, like Visa or American Express, who actually are slower than blockchains in the end of the day, because real people are verifying these and their systems are slow, and banks only work from Monday through Friday. So Visa is slower, really, but it appears to be quicker, credit cards, because they basically use an off-chain, which is what Raiden Network and Lightning Network for Bitcoin are working on. But it seems that Bitcoin will first have to enable segregated witness just to be able to really scale to the level that Ethereum hopes to be able to do with the Raiden Network just very soon. In a couple of weeks, they'll be doing live trials, from my understanding, and that's a great thing. And instead of just scaling to, on average, Visa does 2,000 transactions per second, whereas they on peak can do up to 56,000 transactions per second, Visa. So 100,000 transactions per second as the lower goal for Raiden Network is fantastic. And they hope to be able to get it to, and it should be able to scale all the way up to 1 million transactions plus per second. So it won't be an issue as far as that for quite some time if this Raiden Network comes through. And that's pretty exciting, because that will increase adoptability, make it much better for platforms and merchants to accept Ether, because they will be verified. You will have your money quick and not wait 15 seconds, which is still kind of long, not that long. It's still pretty hefty of a wait. And 15 minutes to 45 minutes for Bitcoin is still just unacceptable when it comes to mainstream adoption, when to them it appears that Visa is moving much quicker. So that's exciting. And then hopefully we have people like PayPal now with this happening, able to to use Ether. You know, you can now use Ether with PayPal and vice versa, and that's pretty exciting. So we'll see where that moves forward. DevCon 2 coming up September, Shanghai. Adoption by the Chinese looking quite possible as Vitalik and his team moves out to China to basically get developers to come together. They're going to come together to talk about developments on blockchains, on cryptocurrencies, on what's going on. And a lot of times these are when projects form, right? Projects form when developers get to actually come together and leave all the projects that they currently have just kind of in the back burn. It's a small vacation. They come together and new ideas happen this way. You know, oh, I've been hearing about this that you're doing. I've been hearing about this. What about we do this? And they start companies together and new ideas, and that's just exciting, you know. So I'm looking forward to DevCon 2, and I am looking forward to the Raiden network, and I'm looking forward to more formal banks and more dApps and all these things coming forward in the Ethereum network, because that's pretty damn awesome. Especially when you have major consortiums like R3, a big consortium of banks who are working on blockchain, calling Vitalik over as consultant to make a blueprint for them and have a little talk about how Ethereum's roadmap is working. That tells me that they're interested in Ether as a possible platform. Very possible platform for whatever they're planning. And that's good for all the investors. It's good for people who just want the Internet of Things to begin to take off. Internet of Things is when chips get so small that they're ubiquitous, right? You have chips inside of your clothing. Moore's Law. You have chips inside of the walls. You have chips. You can change your wallpaper by just touching it. I'm still going to make a futurism video eventually for you guys, but basically, as chips get smaller, there'll be pennies. You'll have computers everywhere. So that Internet of Things, Internet of literally physical things everywhere all around you that have to be able to communicate on some sort of network. And Ether right now is building the platform, the structure, the skeleton to make that possible in ways that, you know, the average company like Intel or even Amazon and all these people are working on. They have been working on that with things like the cloud computing and all that. But, you know, I mean, look at Amazon. They have Alexa, right? So you can call her and she'll do stuff for you. But if we see some sort of platform like this begin to integrate Ethereum, as their vehicle for transactions and things happening, that could be such a paradigm shift in just human civilization that you and I can't even fathom just how that could change everyone's world. And that's why I'm excited about Ethereum. Okay, cheers guys, take care, remember to subscribe if you haven't below, comment, and hit like, make this more visible. All the best to you, and let me know what you guys think. Cheers.